All right, taking a look then at what the equity markets are up to as we speak, and well, really, not bad, steady, 0.2% of gains as we've just managed to go back above the 16,300 mark, but banking not exactly supporting the up move. Praj Industries, look at this stock and the massive rally that we have seen. In the last 1 year, the stock has not doubled or tripled, but quintupled. That's gone up 5 times. And that's, this rally has not paused. Even in the last 1 month, in the last 3 months, we have seen a similar amount of interest in the stock. The reason, of course, being the ethanol rush that we have been seeing, the change in government policies that as well has been quite a trigger for shareholder wealth creation in Praj. Shishir Joshipura, the CEO and MD of Praj Industries, joins us now on the show. Thank you so much, Shishir, for taking out time. Before we get into, the whole government policy bit, I want to talk about your Q1 numbers. We've seen a lot of capacity announcements, capacity enhancements by sugar mills. Tell us about your order inflow, keeping in light the capacity enhancements seen in sugar mills and grain-based ethanol manufacturers as well in the last 2 quarters. How is that sort of reflecting in what you are seeing in terms of order inflows? Oh. Okay, unfortunately, we can see Shishir, but we are not able to hear him, so we'll just get that fixed. But yeah, when it comes to Praj Industries, by the way, let me remember that we're also talking about the Q1 numbers. So let me just run you through that too. We have seen the top line come in at 386 crore rupees. The profit after tax at 22 crores in the corresponding quarter. They posted a loss due to obvious reasons. The EBITDA is at 31 crores and the margin has come in at 8%. We've seen good, compounding in the profit after tax as well. Okay, I think we've been able to get back Shishir Joshipura. So Shishir, I was just talking about what sort of order inflows you have seen in this quarter, because we've seen a good amount of capacity announcements, capacity expansion by sugar mills and grain-based ethanol manufacturers.
Yes, good morning. So as I was saying, we have seen a clear push in direction of capacity creation in the countries. This quarter has been very, very active. Just to give you a comparative number, and while one can say that last year was not strictly comparable, but just to give you an idea of the size of the opportunity, we saw roughly 144 crore equivalent of capacity liters per year of capacity being contracted for last whole year. And this year in first quarter, we have seen almost 90% of it getting added to it. So a very clear shift in favor of creation of capacity. On the grain side of equation, the grain movement started a little later. So we will see in the upcoming quarters, the movement of the grain, although it has also started to move very positively in the direction of grain becoming a very preferred stock for feedstock for creation of ethanol capacities. Sugar mills continue with the liberalization of feedstocks. I think we have seen several contracts being finalized now around different feedstocks, syrup, bee molasses, etc. So very positive for creation of capacity in the last quarter.
All right. So how do you expect the rest of FY22, keeping in mind all of what you've just said, shaping up in terms of order inflows and also finally execution and finalization?
As you can see, we have posted a quarter with an order book which has built further onto the starting of the quarter, and we strongly believe that we'll continue to build on this momentum as we move forward through the year. We have already crossed 2,000 crore of order book at the end of this quarter, and we believe that we'll continue to build on this as we move through the quarter, even as our sales tempo will pick up as we move through the year.
Sure. Mr. Joshipura, morning. Aisha as well joining in. I just have a few more questions on your quarterly numbers and then we'll talk about the industry vision. Just wanted to understand about your gross margins as well. Their lowest margins in about almost 5 years. Is majority of the raw material cost inflation absorbed in this particular quarter? Are the new orders now pricing in higher metal prices and hence better gross margins can be foreseen?
Aisha, the continuous rise in the commodity prices, especially steel, has definitely been hit onto the margins, no question about it. We have taken several measures to counter it, but there has been an impact on the prices because, as you know, that our contracts are not variable price in nature. So once we have the contract and then suddenly the prices change on the commodity side, it does have a negative impact. We've taken several measures to overcome this, but what you see in this quarter is clearly a reflection of that. Also, a lot of site activities that go up in our business and that you will see. So if you look at the overall margin, if you look at the site activity part of it as well as the raw material, then we are still looking at about 2 percentage point difference. And that is something which can clearly be seen as impact of the commodity prices.
Fair point. The high purity business, because despite good order inflows, execution has been flat for the last 4 quarters at about 42 to 45 odd crore rupee revenues. Do we expect growth to finally pick up as, and significantly for the rest of the year?
Yes, we expect that the high purity business will start to show signs of growth. In fact, the order book is building up very, very constructively and very positively for them. We have seen last quarter as well. They had their best order booking so far. So we expect that as that starts to get translated into sales, we will see a clear shift in momentum for that business as well.
Shishir, now let's talk about the whole government policy about bringing forward the ethanol blending target of 20%. Just help our viewers understand, what does it mean for the sector? What does it mean for Praj too?
Sure. I think one of the most exciting steps that has that's come into the play is the fact that we have advanced the 20% blending program from 2030 to 2025. What it means is over the next 5 years, we will see percentage of ethanol gets blended in the petrol move up from currently at about 8% to 20%. Now, what does this mean? This means that almost 1,000 crore liter per year capacity will have to be created in the country for production of ethanol that could then be used for blending. Of course, this will be a gradual capacity creation as we move through the years. What does this mean? So today, if you look at this year, we are looking at roughly 400 crore liters of ethanol being available for the purpose of blending. So from 400, we'll add another 1,000 crore liters of capacity. So that's a big boost. So it's 2.5 times capacity additional that we'll have to put up over the next 3 to 4 years. Earlier, what we were talking about in terms of freeing up the feedstocks, and that is where grains will have a very big role to play. Government has just announced a big program also to focus on maize production and on the agriculture side, which will become a good feedstock for production of ethanol. So we are seeing an overall economy move right from the farmer all the way to the factory and beyond to the wheel all the way, to see that how this greening of the fuel chain in India is actually going to create huge amount of benefits from farmer because their income changes, for production people of ethanol because that creates, of course, employment in both rural and industrial India. We will also see a lot of foreign exchange gain for the country because now 20% of fuel need not be imported. But most important of this all is the fact that ethanol is a green fuel, so it reduces the carbon footprint for the country, and the GHG emission reduction is absolutely priority for us now as global citizens, as responsible global citizens. I think this is a very, very positive step. We've just seen the IPCC report that came out, which has predicted a scenario saying even if we continue as usual, that is, there is no life beyond 2100, and I don't think we can continue to act the way we have been. We have to change the way we use our energy and what energy we use. And I think biofuels have a fantastic role to play in reduction of GHG emissions.
Shishir, 400 crore to 1,000 crore. What is the capacity that we have currently to be able to service the kind of demand that will be generated due to the bringing forward of the target? Of course, it's great, it's clean fuel, but are we going to see any sort of shortage? Because what you're talking about is a huge jump.
You're absolutely correct. So, and that's where all the excitement is about, because from 400, when we finish, we'll be at 1,400. So that's the 1,000 crore delta that we'll have to add. And that is precisely where all the excitement is all about, because we have to create this capacity. Of course, we don't need this capacity tomorrow. But by the time we reach 2025, we'll have to have this 1,000 crore additional capacity created. And that is where we see all the movement taking place. I was earlier mentioning that we have seen this 1 quarter order book equal to 90% of the whole of last year. Of course, last year was very unusual. We all know that. But still, that shows the type of momentum shift that is taking place in capacity creation. And a very big reason for that is also some very progressive policy environment, also freeing up of the feedstocks. And I think that is changing the fundamental structure of the industry itself. Because from a single owner industry, 3 states, single feedstock, we have gone to multiple feedstock, pan-India, and multiple ownership structures possible. So I think this is just fantastic time for creation of growth through ethanol and driving a story that could actually become example for the world to follow.
Well, exciting times indeed, Shishir. I'm sure you've got your work cut out for you to be able to address the significant demand that's going to come about with this. So all the very best, and thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now.
Thank you.